Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of The Kickback. I am your host, The Dude. This is another Topic Tuesday, and as we do on every Topic Tuesday, we say we're not going to do any racism, any sort. So if you got a racist bone in anybody, please stay away from this room, stay away from this group, and we will not tolerate any of that tonight. We have another special guest in the building with us. Hello, sir. How are you tonight? Hello. Dave.
Mr. Franklin.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Franklin. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
All righty. I am your host, the Dude of The Kickback, and as always, welcome to The Kickback, where we have real, transparent conversations, and this is a place where you can be vulnerable and really express yourself. Now, we are a place for brothers. We like to have conversations with ordinary people that are doing extraordinary things. And from what I understand, you are an ordinary gentleman that's doing some extraordinary things in their lives.
Both type.
Do what?
Trying to hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm good. I can hear you now.
All righty. You can hear me a lot better?
Yeah, a whole lot better.
All righty. How's your night going so far?
Well, I'm just getting off work on my way home. Doing my thing.
All righty. So from what I understand, this, like I said before, if you didn't hear me, this is The Kickback. This is a place for brothers where we have real transparent conversations with ordinary men that are doing extraordinary things in their lives. All righty. So I am the host, the Dude, and what I like to tell my guests is we like to treat the show like a mullet. We like to have the business in the front and we'll have some fun on the back end. So with that being said, introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Darren Franklin. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, from the west side of Chicago, but now I've been in Nashville, Tennessee for the last 20 odd years. Single, divorced, got kids, work, job, living life, love God,
All
love what I
right.
do.
So what brought you here to Nashville?
Family and change. Change.
Family and change. That is two words that sometimes really don't go together.
It go together in my case, I tell you that.
I mean, it goes together in the person who's pursuing the change, but how many times do our family members really change?
Well, that's a good question, but the change wasn't for family members. The change was me, for me,
Right.
to move on and do better things and survive where I was and living, because I wasn't living in Chicago. I was surviving and struggling.
All righty. So you were just surviving. See, a lot of people can't be honest with themselves and admit that they're just out here simply surviving, because this life sometimes will hand you some obstacles that's almost impossible to get over. And sometimes your family can be those obstacles.
Well, sometimes it can be, yes.
All right.
Sometimes it's a journey. It's a journey.
Right.
That God, a lot of times people think it's family, but God shakes a lot of things up in your life.
Oh,
When
yes.
when you think you got it smooth, no, he'll come and shake it up for you.
Every time. So let's talk
Yeah.
about the South Side of Chicago and growing up there. What was life like?
life in Chicago, the south side of Chicago was rough. It was
Okay.
real, it was rough, and it was a lesson, you know.
So,
Oh yeah.
we see on TV, you see these stars, you see all these people talk about Chicago and how notorious and dangerous Chicago is. Is it really that dangerous?
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I had a call come in, but
I
go
said,
ahead. Repeat the question.
we see Chicago being emulated on TV with stars and rappers and all of these things. Was Chicago as bad as they portray it on TV?
I wouldn't. It's that's a difficult question because if you, I mean, a lot of people who are not born and raised there always have an opinion because what they see on TV, and it ain't always what you see on TV. It's more to it than that. But that right there is the culture of Chicago. Chicago, Illinois is upbeat town that if you're not doing what you say you're gonna do, being what you're gonna be at, it'll swallow you up. You gotta be. I mean, it's a real thing. I mean, you gotta be taking care of your business. I mean, we all have. We got like Chicago has a lot of things to offer people, you know. But at the same time, you got to be about, like you said, you got to be about your business, you know.
Right.
And them streets, that's a whole different other animal because of back in the 70s and the 80s, we had more community based activities to do, which got snatched from us around the late 80s, early 90s. So growing up in Chicago, we had like more YMCA's, community centers, and all that stuff, which we don't have enough anymore. And our young folks, like we did, we took to the streets, the parties, clubs, our friends, family, and everything, and we do what we gotta do to survive. And a lot of people don't know that, and a lot of people do know that Chicago is basically, if you ask my opinion, it was built off of organized crime. And it's a hustling town. And for those who's not like, middle class millionaires or whatever you want, you got people out here that gotta naturally do what they gotta do. And they're gonna do whatever that takes to survive.
Right. I mean, but that's not just Chicago. That's anywhere. There's people out here in the world that's
That's
gonna do what they got to do to survive.
that's right. You're right. Yeah.
All right. So it was the life you lived. You grew up in a household with a bunch of siblings. Being the oldest boy, what was that like?
Right. It was a lot of responsibility, but at the same time, yeah, it was a lot of responsibilities going. I'm the second oldest child, but I'm the oldest son. So it was. I wouldn't say it was a lot of. It was a good amount of pressure coming from my father and my mom because my mom was a minister. My father, he was a so-called deacon or something like that. Growing, he did the best he could with the education that he had, and I didn't get taught a whole lot because you only know what your parents teach you, and if they limit it, you're gonna be even more limited, and you have to get out there. When you get out there on your own, it's either sink or swim. So yeah,
All right.
that's
Being, like you said, your parents were limited, and that's a good statement to make, because a lot of people don't understand the fact that it kind of came up in our show last week. In one of our other shows, we do a freestyle Friday where we have open forum with a bunch of gentlemen, and we just toss around a bunch of conversations. But that was a great statement that a lot of people don't realize or recognize, but they do. When your parents are limited, then it limits what you can learn and what you know, because they only have a certain amount of things that they can give you. They only have a certain amount of things that they can give you. And being that you was the oldest boy and your parents was limited, what was the driving force that made you realize you wanted something different?
This started out in grammar school. I mean, when you look around your classrooms or your neighborhood, and your friends coming through, and they got the new this on, the new shoes, the new hat, the new jackets, the starter stuff, whatever, and your parents can't afford it, you looking crazy. You're like, man, I want that. I want a lot of things. In high school, I'm a house head. I love house music. I grew up on it. And I have friends, and we go through these magazines, GQ, International Males, and we idolize those things, those dress codes, those fashions, and I wanted more. And so, in order for me to get it, I got to get out and do whatever I got to do to get it. And I ain't saying, it's just illegal stuff, but working a job after school, or, some of us even do it illegally, sold drugs or whatever to obtain those things. But it was a part of that in my youth was a driving force. Now as an adult, it's almost, I wouldn't say it's the same, but it's somewhat the same, because you want to live a better life. I want to provide more for my seeds. I'm an example, and I'm an example to my kids, and not just my own kids, my nieces and nephews too. So, and my younger brother, I was an example to him. My father told me one time when I was getting ready to graduate from high school, and I was in my junior year. My sister dropped out. She went into the gangs and everything. And my father me and him stood at the table, at the dining room table. My father looked at me and was like, really putting the pressure on me. You're going to graduate. And I said, yeah, but it's not because you saying it. It's because I see what's going on. I don't want to struggle all my life. Even though I had my fair share of struggles, but I managed to graduate from high school. I tried college. Found out I went to Kennedy King for a couple semesters. Found out it wasn't for me. Then I started to trade school because I'm crafty. So I utilized what my talents that God had bestowed upon me to make it through. And now I'm where I'm at. I mean, it might not be nowhere for some, but I manage 22 stores. I'm a service manager for 22 stores, Taco Bell franchise out here.
Right.
I fix all types of equipment, refrigeration. I'm a tradesman. I worked my way from the youth, building houses, remodeling, demolition, drywall. All these trades were blessings that I got that helped me to make it through, even though, I was on child support and stuff like that. It was a struggle. So that's what pushed me. The struggle pushed me. Either I was going to sink or swim, and I'd be damned if I sink.
Hey, that's a wonderful analogy, but a lot of people take that the opposite direction. A lot of people let that struggle, let what they seen their parents do, and they follow in their footsteps. And again, I reference to this show because there have been a lot of great conversations, and maybe one Friday you could catch up on a Freestyle Friday and be in the conversation. But we had a conversation about generations. I brought up the question, how do we break the generational curse of like, I'm pretty sure in your lifetime you've seen like 3 to 5 generations of people in the housing projects, and nobody wants to do any better. You got the grandma, then you got the mama, then you got the daughter, then you got the granddaughter, and then the granddaughter winds up getting pregnant, and now she's got a project.
Yeah, that goes back to what I said before about your what your parents know, and what they teaching you and what they showing you. If their parents ain't showing you how to move, you ain't gonna move. You're gonna do just like they do. You're gonna sit down and you ain't gonna do a whole lot because you get comfortable. Some people don't even want to try because trying would take them somewhere that they might not want to be.
Yeah.
They put them in the middle of a room, and they don't know which way to go because they haven't been taught how to maneuver.
Yeah, it takes them out of their comfort zone. Most people love to stay in their comfort zone. They don't like to be outside their comfort zone. They want to stay where it's most comfortable. But what I've learned over the years is growth comes in the most uncomfortable moments in your life, is when most people get their growth.
Exactly. But some people don't see it that way. Some people see it like it's a curse. It's a curse to a lot of us. A generational curse, and some people like, I ain't got to do nothing. My mama don't say nothing to me. My daddy ain't said nothing to me. So why should they just lazy man? I mean, they're not going to move unless they was pushed or whatever. But the have not made me want more because I didn't have and I wanted. So I can't wait around for my parents to tell me. Well, I'm gonna give you an example. One time I was in my junior year in high school, and I wore a size 12 in my junior year in high school shoes. And at this time I didn't have a job or nothing like that. And I went to my father, and I said, I need some money for some shoes. And he looked at me. He was sitting in his chair, his little recliner, watching sports or whatever on TV. And he reached in his pocket and he gave me $20. And I looked at that $20 and I was like, damn, this ain't enough. And he looked at me. He's like, you get the rest. And I was like, oh, okay. You giving me permission to get a job? Yeah, go find you a job and you take care of your own stuff. But you're going to contribute to the household too. And from that point on, from the age of 16, I've been working a job after school or whatever. You got to do what you got to do. When that $20 was a good example for me. Like,
right.
Is that it?
I get what you're saying.
Is that it?
I understand and I get it, man. I get it. And that's amazing that you took something as insignificant as, and I'm not making light of your story, but I'm saying you saw in that moment that it was time for you to step up to the plate and acquire the things that you wanted. You saw that it was time for you to change the narrative and do something different.
Yeah. Just, when in my 33 years of living in Chicago, I had to join a gang. I had to hustle illegally, which I didn't want, but I talk to God in all these moments. This ain't in my heart. This is just where I'm at right now. and I'm trying to work my way out of this shit. And I did. I had to listen to people that were doing it above me, and those who was like preachers. I would consider myself as a church boy when I was a kid. I was that kid. I couldn't afford shit. I go to school with church shoes on and get laughed at and everything. But when you get tired of getting laughed at, you're gonna do something about it.
Right.
So I had to, And the neighborhoods I stayed in, the young other guys was always coming at me, fighting. I had to fight in front of my house, fight in my yard, fight over here, fight over here, and you know, after a while, you get tired of taking the ass whooping.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're
I
gonna have to
totally
get
agree.
some.
Hey, somebody got to catch that fade. Somebody got to catch that fade.
Yeah, somebody gonna catch it, and that rage build up. You gonna get tired. You get tired of living like this. Tired of being taken advantage of. Tired of people telling you no. Tired of, and all that stuff. You get tired of you go get it. I have to go get it myself with help from God, from family, and those who understand me, my friends. And whoever I made it with at the time.
Right. Yeah. So you said that you joined a gang and you hustled in order to get the things that you wanted, right?
Well, not just to get the things I wanted, to survive, to maneuver. I had to join a gang to be able to maneuver through neighborhoods and the streets and everything, because my sister was so popular in the game, it affected me because they knew who my sister was, and they'd come at me because my sister was in this certain gang. So right. Even though I didn't want to, I had to pick up that match. But I turned that whole situation around. I had to walk down the street hustling, and camouflage, walking down the street with a dress shirt, dress pants, looking like I'm going to choir rehearsal or something like that. Police pull me over. What you doing, boy? Hey, man, I'm going to church. And yeah, all right, get on out of here. And escape that. And, I mean, it was just that real. You do what you got to do. You have to camouflage. You have to be part of something that you don't want to be a part of. You got to play the game until you fade out of it, or however you transfer from one situation to another.
Right.
Move.
Yeah,
leave.
maneuver. Yeah, maneuver. Yeah. However, you have to maneuver in certain manners in order to escape all of that. And like you said, some people, and here's the reality and the truth. Some people moved. Some people died. Some people went to jail. Some people are in wheelchairs or hospitals for the rest of their lives. But it took all of those different situations in order to get those people out of the whatever lifestyle that they were living in. And I get it because your sister was who she was. You had to maneuver in the streets at a certain manner. And that's why at the beginning I talked about family. Sometimes that family is a change that you don't want or you don't need, because sometimes family can be the ones that put you in the most harm's way. And I always believe this. Family ain't always blood. Family's the people who's been loyal to you throughout your life.
That's true.
Because
that's true to
the people, to a certain extent, but the people that you share blood with sometimes can be the people that draw blood from you. All right, sounds like Mr. Frank is having a couple of technical difficulties. Everyone that's in the chat, hey man, hey, thank y'all. We love y'all. 2025 is gonna be live. We can't help the technical difficulties. Mr. Frank, are you still here with us?
It's coming in and out.
Oh, okay.
But I appreciate that. I appreciate being on your podcast.
Hey, man, listen, like I said, we're here to show the world that ordinary people do extraordinary things. And your story, telling your story, man, is going to help some young man understand that the life he's living right now, he doesn't have to live for the rest of his life. There is an
Oh
out.
no. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
When you get tired of it, God gonna push. He gonna disrupt everything. You're gonna think it's coming from this or that, whatever. But it was just timing is everything. That's what my daddy used to tell me. Timing is everything. So it may not be when you, like that old song. It may not be when you want it, but it's gonna be right on time.
Hey, and that's one of those things I had to go over with my wife, because in some certain instances she'd be like, "Why you ain't did this?" I said, "God has time for everything, and there's a time and a place for every conversation, for every movement that you make.
That's right.
God presents time for it."
Right. That's right.
All righty. So you must have been a heck of a player in the streets, because from what I understand, you got a bunch of daughters.
I got 5 daughters and 1 son. Yeah, I was out there real hard. I ain't gonna tell you no lie.
Hey, they said, they say when God gives a man a bunch of daughters, he done told a lot of lies in his lifetime. He done told a lot of lies in his life.
Not necessarily. I ain't gonna say there's a lot of lies.
So did you break a lot of hearts?
I didn't do all that. Women taught me what I know. Women gave me the understanding that I have, mostly about attracting women.
All right.
It's like there's some truth to the game when I watch them old players, them old pimps. Like I used to watch Don Juan coming down the street, and he stop us and everything, and he have his prostitutes in the car with him. They all for him. And it's they the one who teach you, who taught men how to attract them, their types.
You're right.
So I couldn't. Hey, I guess you could say that we can get greedy. We can get real greedy when it comes to circus. They pump, we pump our heads up. They pump our heads up. We pump their heads up, and hey, everybody's wilding out. But I thank God for my five daughters. I used to think that I used to say that God was punishing me for being who I was by giving me all these girls. But no, it's not. It's not a punishment.
I tell you
it's a
what,
blessing.
It's what I was about to say. One of the guys in the chat right now, he said that when he had he took his daughter to get christened. The pastor was like, "You know why God gave you a daughter? You know what I'm saying? Because he knew that you were going to protect her. So he knew that you was going to protect them. So that's why God gave you daughters, because he knew you knew the stripes of what a woman was and went through. So he knew that you were going to protect your daughters." Now, what's the ages of your children?
12, 14, 18, 22, 28, and 29.
Oh man, you was popping them out back to back, weren't you?
Oh man. Oh man, I was busy. I was married. I've been married twice.
Okay, you was married twice.
I got 4 baby. I got 4 baby mamas. I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
And some of those are situations within themselves, because one I did not raise.
Okay.
One, she's half white, and her when my ex found out that she was pregnant, her grandparents came and took her away, and I hadn't seen her. I didn't see her until my daughter turned 17 years old. She came and asked me. My ex asked me she told me that her daughter wants to be adopted by her stepdad, and that was one of the hardest things I had to accept. But I had to give her permission to be adopted and sign over papers because I did not raise her. But I still claim she's still my daughter. That's my blood.
I
That's
understand
a
that.
hard thing to accept. And this happened in 2019, right before COVID hit. I had to
Right.
go to court and sign these papers, and this is the first time I seen my daughter in person. And it was a deep moment, man. And it was I could not hold it back. I mean, cried and everything.
Oh,
But
hey.
he's a beautiful person,
Uh-huh.
and you know, I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't say no. I had to give her what she wanted.
Right. And that's respect. And crying is not a punk thing. I don't want nobody to think it's a punk thing.
Say
That
that
is,
again?
you said you cried and everything, but society makes it seem like if a man cries, then that's a punk thing. No, that's not a punk thing at all, man. We all have emotions. We all are emotional beings, and crying to me, is a release of whatever I got going on at that moment. But yes, that is a beautiful story, my man. You know, we as parents, sometimes we get ourselves into some situations that are out of our control, even though we're adults. Sometimes we get
Right.
ourselves in situations that are out of our control. And it was beautiful that you were able to give her what she wanted. And maybe in life she'll come back and she'll say something to you, even though she's got her mother and stepdad and whoever she has, but she still knows who you are.
Yes, exactly.
She still knows who you are and knows the sacrifice. And that was a sacrifice that you had to make in that moment for her happiness. So you got God points for that, my brother. You got God points for that because like you said, bro, I couldn't even imagine if my kids came to me right now and says, "Hey dad, we want you to sign over your rights and let our stepdad adopt us, blah, 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 blah." I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bawl like a baby.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ball like I ain't never balled before because you still flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
yeah, exactly.
You still flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. All right. But that is replicable. That's a very replicable, brother.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what was the catalyst to move from Chicago to Nashville. What was the defining moment that you said, Tennessee, Nashville, I'm
Well,
going?
I had I used to work for Pepsi Cola General Bottlers in Chicago on 35th and Justine, and I worked there for seven years. And I dealt with a lot of shit from my own kind, from white people, from and everything, supervisors trying to, take advantage of you and everything, and just all around and in the streets and everything. How separated that, and the racism in Chicago is within the system, like the jobs and stuff like that. You had to be of certain color to get certain jobs from where I was standing at. And I was so tired of this job because I worked 12 hours a night, 6 days a week for 5 years straight. And I was so numb, and I went through my first divorce. My ex-wife was playing games, not letting me see my kids, demanding money when I couldn't afford to live on my own at the time for a long time. And my sisters and brothers were like, "You should come down here." They moved earlier than I did. And I came down here to Nashville in 1999 just for a little week vacation. And I seen that Nashville is just getting started to build.
And I spent that week down there. My great uncle had a construction business and everything. My cousins was working. Everybody doing good. And I said, why am I here, still out here in Chicago, struggling? And one morning I woke up and I called my sister. I woke up, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, ain't nothing changing. Ain't nothing changing. And I called my sister. I said, I'm tired. And she was like, what you mean? I said, come and get me. I'm tired. I want to go. Mind you, I got my two oldest kids was still there. And I mean, to jump up, I had to save my own life so I can save my kids' life. And how they look at me and all that. And how, I was, beaten down by this and that and all this and all that. I, I couldn't do it no more up there. I love my town. I love Chicago. I love my city and all that stuff. But sometimes it was just time to move on. And I did that. And I was, I regretted it. I regretted it at first, and I regretted it almost half my life till I matured and realized that if it wasn't for how I was raised and where I was raised and the things I went through, I would not be here. Right now, today, I would not be here.
Right.
I grew up, I've been chiseled. People gotta understand when you going through stuff, going through all this stuff, this is chiseling. God chiseling at you. He knocking this off you, knocking that off you. You going through it. Only way you can get past it is to go through it. You can't go around it. You can't avoid it all the time because it's gonna keep coming back around. So you go through it. And I went through it and made it through it. And that's why I tell people I didn't think I was gonna make it to see 18. I didn't think I was gonna make it to see 25. Every time I looked around, I was like, I'm getting older and older. All my guys are dying. All the guys I ran with, some of them that on the blocks and everything, most of them, they gone or in jail or somewhere else, like we was talking about earlier. But I still got people out there, but it's just that, it's like some people are here for just a season. Some of them here for a reason.
Right.
I've
Right.
been blessed.
Hey.
I've been blessed to make it this far.
Yes,
I know
Lord.
it's by grace.
Yes, Lord.
It ain't nothing I did by myself. I tell you that much.
Yes, Lord.
For real.
Yes, Lord. Hey, man,
Mhm.
listen here, man. Hey, man, listen, that right there is powerful, man. And a lot of people don't understand what you just said, but it's the truth. You looked in the mirror and you said enough is enough. And you said
Yeah,
that I got to save my children. But in order to
yeah.
save my children, I got to uproot from everything I love, and I've got to go to a place I don't know anything about,
Check it
start
out.
all over to build myself up to make sure that my children have something and they see me doing something different.
I'm telling you.
And the God that you served knew that you was a Michelangelo piece in the making. And he chiseled and he worked on you and he worked on your mind and your heart. And he said, bruh, it's time to go. But some of us don't see that. Some of us don't see that when it's time to go, it's time to go. When is enough enough? And I ask that question to my brothers
Hold
and them
on, I
all the
get it.
time. When is enough enough? We can't keep putting ourselves through this. Like you said, you looked in the mirror every day, and every day it was a different day, but you were still here. Some of your homies in the penitentiary, some of your homies in the graveyard, some of your homies in a retirement home because they can't take care of themselves no more. But God gave you the glory and the victory to be out here and continue to take care of you and them beautiful
That's right.
children that you made.
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm still around. It's a blessing.
man, look, I'm gonna tell you what. I just turned 45 a few days ago. But I understand what you said about maturing. It took me a long time to get to this level of maturity that I'm at right now. And I ain't talking about, it wasn't 18, I wasn't mature. I ain't gonna sit here and tell no lies to nobody. 25, I wasn't mature. I ain't gonna sit here and tell them. 30, I wasn't mature. But some about them late 30s, early 40. When I hit 40, man, God came to me and he said, it's time. He said, it's time. You understand what I'm saying? He said, it's time. He said, it's time for you to get out behind that wheel and let me drive. And let me tell you something. The life that I live right now is abundantly amazing. You understand what I'm saying? It's abundantly amazing. And just like you said, I got to save my children. Not me. I got to save my children. So that means I got to do something different for about my situation in order to save them.
Right.
I got to save my children because, like you said, they're looking at me. The children are looking at me. They're looking at me and they're looking at the moves I make. And if I continue to be in the streets and do all these different things in life, then they're going to think that's what it's worth. Or they're going to think that that's what it takes to survive. No, it's not. It's not what it
No,
takes to survive.
no, it's not.
It's not.
No.
So, I love it, man. Now, at the beginning, when you introduced yourself, you talked about being over a couple of Taco Bells. Now, what is your title in this
I'm
company?
a,
What are you?
I'm a service manager.
Okay,
I go
but
around. I
servicing how?
I go around when stuff breaks down. I go around. I fix it. I grills, steamers, all these different types of equipment, refrigeration, walk-in freezers, walk-in coolers, reach-in, all that. I taught myself pretty much how to fix it by, even by tearing it up, blowing stuff up. You learn from what you do wrong and do right. It's like life. You
So,
learn from what you do.
so you never went to school for any of this?
I went to school for heating and air conditioning. I learned a lot of stuff on jobs like a helper and stuff like that. I didn't go to school to be just this. I had to latch on to something because coming up, I didn't see much of a future. I didn't see me going to college. I didn't see all of that. I've realized after 40 something years that I should have been an engineer, a mechanical engineer, but I didn't see that growing up.
We look in the mirror all the time and we never really see ourselves.
No.
We never the image that we see in that reflective glass is not the person who we are. If
No.
somebody's close to you that you can trust and is loyal to you, they can see who you truly are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we see the version of ourselves that we beat down. Let's be honest. I tell people all the time, there's nothing you can say about me that I've never said about myself. So any joke or diss or whatever it is that you want to say, I've already said it about myself. So there's nothing you can say about me that I've already said inside my head.
Man, I'm telling you, dude, I got thick skin, dude, because I grew alongside of growing up with not having, you got people around you who tease you because they got it and you ain't got it. You can't get it. They parents can do it, but yours can't do it. The first time, as a kid, I used to watch, what's that, the Mickey Mouse Club and all that stuff. Disney World and Disneyland and all this other whatnot.
Yes,
And I used
sir. I know
to
all of that, man.
I used to wish I could go there. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. And the first time I went to Disney World was when I was 42 years old. I was more excited than my kids was.
That I can believe. That I can believe. Because when I ever make it to Disney World, I'm probably gonna be way more hyper than these
Man,
these children, man.
I'm looking at I'm standing in front of the castle like, wow, I'm waiting for those little fireworks to go off and everything. And just to see what I saw as a kid. And I did that. Just like this past year, I was blessed. A friend of mine took me to Hawaii. I did not pay a dime.
Man, I can't wait to get there, player. I can't wait to get to Hawaii. That's one of them bucket list trips. How was
Yeah,
that?
that was the bucket list that I didn't even see coming, but because of my friend told me, she's like, "You're a good guy. You're a good guy, and would you go here with me, and just to accompany me?" Yeah. At first, I said no. I didn't believe her. And she came back a couple times. I was like, nah, cause, we just friends, I'm just coming out of a divorce and everything. I ain't trying to be committed or nothing like that. And I don't want to you know, I don't want to, do something that, or what you said, misconstrued. I don't want you to be misconstrued or nothing like that. So I kept
Yeah,
saying,
I get you.
I said no. I didn't, but after I thought about it, she was like, I mean, you don't owe me anything. I'm going to do this for you. Man, that was the biggest thing. That was one of the biggest things somebody ever done for me.
Man.
And I was elated.
But
And
the
I'm,
thing is, you're a overgrown man, and that's the biggest thing. And I'm not being disrespectful. Just hear what I'm saying.
yeah, I
You're
understand.
an overgrown man, and that is the most heartfelt thing that someone's ever done for you in your life. And you've got kids by women, and you've got parents, and you've got siblings. But that's why I tell people all the time, the people that are going to be the best to you is somebody that don't really know you.
True that.
The people that don't really know you are going to treat you the best because they have no preconceived notions of you.
Right. That's true.
They only know what you've shown them and what you tell them. And that is you can make it or break it in any story, because you can either be genuine or you can either be overzealous and sell something that you're truly not.
Right.
But it
You
sounds
know?
like this young lady, so where is that friendship?
Oh, we cool. We friends, man. And she's a good person. She's a really good person. And
Right.
she's over there right now.
That's what's
Yeah.
up, man.
He's a corporate tax preparer and everything. She takes these trips a lot, and she just so happens, well, hey, you want to roll? Okay, why not?
Right. I mean, but here's the thing. It sounds like you've worked hard over your lifetime, and you've acquired this lifestyle that God has provided for you. And so now reap the benefits of it. And I think that's what a lot of us don't do. We don't understand that, we've poured these long nights praying for these children, or doing these different things, breaking our backs for these different companies. And then when we get in a position that we're comfortable, because comfort is defined in different manners for different people. You understand what I'm saying? Comfort to me is all my bills are paid. I got food in the refrigerator. I got gas in my car. I have the ability to get up and do what I want to anytime I want to. I ain't saying it's got to be money. I ain't got to say, it ain't got to be a whole lot of whatever, but my comfort comes from that. My children are healthy. Healthy. They got everything they need and half the stuff they want.
Yes, man.
And
I mean, that's me. I spent from my early 20s to my late 30s. I had to have roommates. I had to have live with relatives and all that just to stay off the street because I couldn't. I was paying child support and it was overwhelming. Sometimes child support, I'll fall back in arrears and they take a whole check. And I sit up there and I think about it, throughout my times and like, Lord, Lord, keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing. And I got you. I handle it. I got you. And it's hard. It's hard to put your head down and keep your head down and keep doing what you got to do and think and that ain't nothing changing and it's changing on a daily basis because you're getting older and older and older and mature. And you learn it. I had to learn how to, be quiet when it's time to be quiet, listen when it's time to listen, freak when it's time to freak. And, cause like when I came, I'm a big dude. I ain't no little guy. I'm 6'2". I'm a solid dude. And even coming like being here in Nashville, a lot of people look at me and they be like, man, you look like you could just tear a person's head off. And I'm like, man, I used to be like that. I had to calm down.
Right, right. But you're
I
still
was
defined by your looks as you would
yeah,
be an angry person, but they don't know that you're a big old teddy bear and you'll help out anybody.
exactly. Now, and a lot of people, they see me, and like, even when I go home, they be like, damn, man, I put time back on me.
That's it. That's it. You
I,
put it, but see what you just said. You put time back on you,
yeah,
not on
I put,
somebody's clock, not worried about some mess that ain't even got nothing to do with nothing right now.
no,
You put time back on you.
I'm telling you, we need to say what I mean when I'm saying that too. It was like, I, hearing that, hearing myself, I don't look like exactly what I've been through. I don't. I've been there, done that. I'm 54 years old. People keep telling me I look like I'm 45,
Hey man, I tell
47,
people all the time, I got the t-shirt and the scar. I
for
got the
real.
t-shirt and the scar, man. I ain't trying to go back there. I got the t-shirt
Oh,
and the scar.
no, I've been there, done that.
Been there, done that. I got the t-shirt and the scar. If you want to see the scar, I can show it to you. The t-shirt at the bottom of my t-shirt drawer. I had to pull it out, but I got the t-shirt and the scar, man. I ain't trying to go back there.
No, I drink out of a coffee cup that say been there, done that.
Right. That's
Bigger,
what's
better
up.
things.
That's
Bigger,
what's
better
up.
things.
Now listen. We got a lot of business out of the way. I got a few questions to ask you on the back end, and these are just some fun questions I like to ask my guests. Before we get out of here, we don't like to take up a whole lot of your time, but if I got in your vehicle right now, what is Big Frank listening to?
House music.
House music. Favorite house music artist?
Favorite house music artist. Man, I got so many, but I would say Mike Dunn. I got a few of Mike Dunn, Lil Lewis, Louis Vega. Uh, man, there's so many.
All right.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
We got the gist of what you said. All right.
all right.
So what is Big Frank's guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yes,
Like a Snickers bar, Hershey's bar,
I love Hershey's.
Hershey's. All right. All
Yeah.
right. So if Big Frank could describe his perfect boo, what would she look like, or who would she be like, or what
Oh,
would she possess?
oh man. Oh, okay. So I watch this one TV show I watched. Uh, what's that? Tyler Perry's sisters.
Yes, sir.
The girl, her name Fatima.
Okay.
She's a ride or die. She all about her man. If you step across her man, you gotta come at her first. I set up I know this is a character in a movie, but that that's what. I would love. That's the type of woman I would love to have. That ride or die. Professional when it need to be, agree when she need to be. All of that. That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Yeah.
So a ride or die. So loyalty means everything to you.
Loyalty means a whole lot. Loyalty and respect.
Loyalty and respect means a lot to Big Frank. Big
Mm-hmm.
Frank, how long have you been doing the job that you've been doing right now?
I've been doing this job for 3 years now.
3 years.
Yes.
Do you love it?
I love what I do because it ain't work.
Right. Great answer. Great answer. Great
It's not
answer.
work. I've been working with my hands since I was a kid. And I had to reevaluate myself on how I look at things. And I'm sitting up here and people tell, man, you do this, you do that. People need somebody like me. People have always needed me. If I'm a carpenter. That's what I grew up as, learning the trade. And I'm always in need. I don't care how old I get. I'm
Right.
gonna get out there and I'm gonna make that money.
Right. So here's a
You know?
question. So if a young man approached you and he says, I want to learn what you're doing, would you be open and willing to teach him the skills that you have?
Yes, I have done it in the past, and I still do it. I got nephews, I got cousins, young nephews and young cousins. I got my own son, and I teach. I show them what I know. I try to motivate them. Go take this heat and air conditioning class. Go take that class. At least you have a trade to fall back on because a lot of people with college education can't find a job, or
Right.
they what they say is some of the markets are so saturated that the pay is not even worth the job that you got to do.
It ain't worth the paper they printed your degree on.
Yeah,
But
but
see, I've been screaming this. I came out of high school in the mid-90s. And when I came out of high school, everybody, I'm telling you, computer engineering and coding was the big thing back then. And this
yeah,
was the 90s. And I've been screaming this same thing since the 90s. If everybody
uh,
wants to sit behind a computer and a desk, who's going to build the desk that you're sitting behind? Who's going to build the
exactly
building that you're inside of? Who's going to
me.
build the computers? I know you, but I'm saying it's been so many people that I want to be a coder, or I want to be an electronic engineer, or I want to be everybody wanted to sit in the 90s. Everybody wanted to sit behind a computer.
So
Everybody.
they can have it. I fall asleep.
Hey, listen, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. My typing skills are horrible. They
Oh
are
man,
horrible. I can't type worth to save myself. My wife can type up. My wife, that's her job. She loves sitting behind a desk. She loves typing. She loves anything to do with the keyboard and stuff like that. I let her have it. I'm a hands-on type of dude. I'd rather do the physical work than do the
yeah,
paperwork.
yeah. I'm gonna give you an example. In 1994, I went to a typing. A friend of mine, she was a teacher. God rest her soul. She said, come and take this data entry class and learn. And I went and took this data entry class and I learned, I couldn't type I got up to 35 words per minute. And that's with big hands, big rough hands. And that training with my fingers was kind of excruciating because I'm not used to typing and stuff like that. I'm used to handling tools and whatnot.
That's
But
it, man.
yeah, I'd rather be out. I hate being in the same place every day doing the same thing.
I get
I
you. I
do.
get you. Cause, and I've changed careers, man. I was a chef for 20 years. I was a chef for 20 years. I mean, I could cook anything you put in front of me. I could cook anything you put in front
I
of
do.
me. And now I'm a driver. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going into a different kind of driving. But do you want to know the best job? One of the best jobs I ever had was a garbage man.
A garbage man.
I was a
Yeah.
garbage man. I was for a year. I was a garbage man, and it was the best job, one of the best jobs I ever had.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
it's
can
one of
believe
those
it.
underrated jobs. People don't give a garbage man the props they deserve. But if you
Oh,
really understand the job,
yeah.
it's
Um,
physical,
yeah. It's
and
mental too.
yes, it's mental and physical. But the
You got to
thing
deal with a
is,
lot.
you out there in the people are like, I don't want to be out in the elements. When it's hot, you out there. When it's cold, you out there. Yeah, you are. But
Yeah,
it's a whole different beast and a whole different
that's
element,
right.
man.
Man, my grandfather was a garbage man. He brought home, he used to bring home all types of stuff. Like when I say I'm from Chicago, I grew up in the era of, you ever heard of Jewtown?
Yeah, I've heard of Jewtown.
Jewtown was a place where you find whatever you had, you could go down there, sell it, or whatever you needed, you could go down there and find it. And my grandparents, they were, my grandfather was a preacher. And during the week, he would work his job, and he would rummage through these garbage cans while he's doing it and find all types of stuff, jewelry, old coins, furniture, and whatnot. And he would ask the people permission to take it. And he would come back on the weekends in his own van or car and come grab it and set up for that weekend, that following weekend, and take it down to Jewtown and sell it. My grandparents were hustlers in
Man,
their own right.
hey,
So
that's what we
that's
grew
what
up
waste
on.
management would do for you.
Yes.
Yeah, because somebody else is trash and somebody else is trash.
Yes, sir. And a lot of people
Yeah,
don't understand the theory or the metaphor behind that.
man, real. So yeah,
Yeah.
shoot.
I
I'm
mean,
I'm out there and I'm out there. All the elements. It's cold. It was cold yesterday. It was cold today.
yes,
But
sir.
I was out there.
Yeah.
I
Because you,
enjoyed it because a lot of people say, "Man, it's too cold." I said, "Man, you don't know where I grew up. I grew up where it was really cold. In the summertime, it was cold. So this, I mean, you just got to know how to dress for the occasion.
and you got to know
That's
how to
one thing.
maneuver.
Yeah, that's one thing Chicago taught me. There was another thing that Chicago taught me is how to dress for the occasion and how
Yeah.
to move, how to maneuver.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
exactly.
So Chicago taught you a lot of lessons. What has Nashville taught you?
Man, Nashville taught me how to be more of a businessman. You know, how to manage your business, how to help put more of how to put God first, and anything is possible. You can get out here and be a millionaire cutting grass
Hey, the
or picking up
land of
trash,
milk and honey. I tell people all the time, it's the land of milk and honey, baby. Ain't nothing like it, baby. Ain't nothing like
and,
Nashville, man.
right? Because you can walk across a million people. You can walk. You never know who these people are, and they dress like you, but they millionaires.
Man,
And they don't want they walking around. They in the secondhand stores walking around buying stuff, and you thinking like, man, well, they poor. They look poor, but they got the biggest bank accounts.
but see, that's you're starting a whole nother conversation. You're starting a whole nother conversation. You're starting a whole nother conversation. It's all
Yeah,
about mindset. And the
yeah,
conversation that I mean, and I'm just going to touch on it, and we're going to move past it, but I'm going to touch on it. The
yeah,
mindset of the poor is to look rich, and the mindset of the rich is to look as modest as possible. See,
exactly.
we poor people, and I'm not going to call myself poor because I'm rich in spirit, and and my
Yeah.
God has blessed me, and I'm rich in spirit and I'm rich in love. But poor people tend to want to dress like they're rich, but live like they're poor. But the rich want to dress modest and live like they're wealthy.
Well, yes, because rich people been there. They know what to do. Poor people, we trying to look rich and everything, or we trying to attract the richness.
You know,
That's why a lot of times that's why we dress our best because we trying to attract to who we trying to become.
right. But the thing is, you don't have to dress like a millionaire to make $1 million. You don't have
Oh
to
no.
dress like a millionaire to attract $1 million. Like you said, you came to Nashville, and Nashville taught you how to be a businessman. It taught you how to maneuver and operate in a business world. But you ain't
Right.
have to you put on them work clothes and them boots, and you get in that truck and you go to work.
That's right.
So you ain't dressed like $1 million, but I don't know what your bank account got in it, but I know you ain't broke.
Oh no, I ain't broke, bro.
All right, then. That's what I'm saying. So you ain't
I
got
pay.
to.
Look, I pay all my bills with one check.
Exactly.
For real. Thank God.
Thank God. But the thing I noticed, being of African American descent, and that's how we're going to say it, of African American descent, I stopped buying, and I'm just going to be real, I stopped buying Jordans. And let me explain to you why I, myself, stopped buying Jordans. Because if you drive, I want everybody in this room to look when you drive down the road. And this is homework for everybody. When
All
you
right.
drive down the road, you see people standing on side of the road with signs that say, I need help. I need money. Can you help me? Or you see a bum or a drug user walking down the street. Look at their feet.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their feet.
They got on Jordans.
75% of them suckers got on Jordans.
That's true. Never judge a book by its cover, though. But that's true.
Yeah, I
You
get
know?
what you're saying. You never judge a book by its cover. But if you're standing on the corner with a sign that says, I need help on, why do you have $100 pair of shoes on? If
Man,
you sitting on a bus stop waiting on the bus and you got on a Gucci sweatshirt and some True Religion jeans and a pair of
you ought to
Jordans
be
on,
ashamed of
why? Why?
you try to look
I'm
good.
driving past you with my Skechers on, with my Wrangler jeans and my Walmart t-shirt on the way to my job.
Well, what they say. To each his own. But me, I'm gonna do the best I can. I make my clothes look good. My clothes don't always make me look good. I make my clothes look good.
There it is. And
I
that's
love
what I
that.
mean by you make your clothes look good. It doesn't matter what store you shop at. I ain't saying that. I ain't
That's
saying you got
right.
to shop at a particular store or a
Right.
particular brand.
I'm like Pops when he was on Boomerang. You got
You
you
got to
gotta put it together to
coordinate.
make it look good. Yeah, you gotta put it together to
Coordinate.
make it look like something.
Right. You got to
Coordinate.
coordinate.
That's right. You know. You,
Yeah.
I buy this, I buy a jacket, I buy pants. I think when I'm shopping, I think about what's in my closet already. What can I match it with 2 or 3 things? Because
Coordinate.
I gotta switch it up.
Right. Right. But that's just me. That's my personal opinion. That's not the opinion of the
Yeah.
show. Anybody else?
Mhm.
That's my personal opinion about it. I'd rather, at my age, and I know you're a little bit older than me, and you said you're a big dude. I'm a big dude. Actually, I'm on a weight loss journey right now, and I've lost I've lost in 2 years. I lost 86 pounds. Well, a
Man, that's
little more,
great.
about 90 pounds now, because I'm down even lower than I was the last time I went to my doctor, because I just had to go for a DOT inspection today.
Right.
And I stepped on the scale. So in all, I've lost about 90 pounds.
Mm.
So and I'm under 300. I'm under 300.
Amen to that, bro.
I'm under 300. Now I buy shoes for comfort.
That's right.
I don't even care. I don't care what they look like. I buy shoes for comfort.
Man, please, me too. I'm telling you.
I buy shoes for comfort.
'Cause, like I told you, I walk them blocks in them good shoes, and you get them good shoes mess your feet up. After, after you walked in them shoes so long, they lose their spring.
Yeah,
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 that's right.
yeah, man. They lose their
Some of them
spring.
don't have. Some of them don't have that spring in the beginning. 'Cause you bought them because they look good.
That was it. You just bought them for vanity. You didn't buy them for comfort. You bought them for vanity.
Right. Exactly. You
So,
know.
yeah. So
Oh yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do when you're not working? What's your hobby? What's your thing outside? What do you do to relax outside of work?
You ain't gonna believe this. I do bead crafting
Who?
and painting.
Bead?
Huh?
You say bead? Bead like
Bead.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
beads.
beaded necklaces,
Okay,
jewelry,
okay,
stuff like
okay.
that. I
No,
do that
why would I not believe you, bruh? Why would I not believe you? Everybody has
because
something that they do to relax. And it does not have to meet. That's why I told you here, you ain't got to meet the status quo. None of that. We ain't trying to
oh,
judge you or no, nothing like that. This is a no judgment zone.
I found at first I found it odd. It's of me because I go in these secondhand stores or thrift shops and stuff like that, and I see all this stuff hanging around. And one thing, and two, because it helped. I found that I'm not gonna go out and buy a gold chain. I ain't that type. I ain't gonna go out and buy no silver chain. I ain't about all that. But I will make a chain. I don't make jewelry that fit me, that fit the average guy. And I have made necklaces and stuff out of beads and whatnot. And when I go out to shoot pool or something like that, people are like, man, who made that? Where you get that from? And I tell them I made it. And they're like, man, do you sell it? No, I just do it because that's what I like to do. This is something I do with not just me. I do it with my daughters.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
show them,
And it's, that's
yeah,
something and that's what a lot of people don't get. Kids need time more than they need money.
yeah.
And you making some valuable memories with your kids, man.
For real, we'll sit up in the house on weekends when I get my daughters on the weekends and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
we will sit here and we will watch like marathons of Bernie Mac, and we will make earrings, make jewelry, matching jewelry and stuff like that because
Ah, get
you
out of
know,
here.
yes, that's what we do because
Man, listen. Listen. My hat's off to you. You're a real dad, man.
thank you,
You're a real
thank
dad. Listen, I got a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old daughter. I've had my toes painted, my fingernails painted. I've had my face painted.
you.
I've played makeup, tea
Oh,
party,
you
dress
went
up.
further than I would.
Hey, listen, man. I play dress up, makeup, tea party, all that.
Yeah,
I got pictures in my
and
phone
all.
with makeup on my face, my toenails
Uh-huh.
painted, my fingernails painted.
Yeah, you
But
know
they
that's us.
remember they remember that more than they remember anything else.
Yeah, they remember that more than they remember you buying them this, that, and the other. Yeah, because like you said, that's the moment you can't get back.
Nah, my 8-year
Yeah.
old still talks about, Daddy, you remember that time you let us put makeup on your face?
Yep.
Or every time,
Um,
I'm like you, I get my daughters on the weekends. I get them twice a month on the weekends.
yeah.
So they'll come over, and the first thing they'll holler, because I changed the narrative. My fingernails don't get painted anymore, and I only get my face painted if we're gonna stay in the house and we're not going anywhere. But
Right.
they know that they can paint Daddy's toenails, and I made
Right.
it that way so I can play. They can paint my toenails. I'm gonna put shoes on. You ain't gonna see my feet at work. Nobody's gonna
Right.
see my feet. I'm walking around the house. They gonna see my toes and they gonna see their work and they gonna laugh and they gonna take pictures and send it to their mama and their
Right.
granny and all these people. But I know when it's time for daddy to go to work, he got to put some shoes and socks on. The world ain't gonna see my toes painted like that. If I really cared, I don't. If the world saw my toes painted, because I really don't care, because it was my girls who did it, and those are my
Exactly.
babies.
Right.
And what matters to me is how they feel, not the world.
Exactly. hmm All my kids are artists in their own right. My brothers and sisters, it's in the blood. Art, creativity is in the blood. And once I realized that my oldest daughter, she can crochet anything. She like fashion designer. She has an online presence, and she get that from both me and her mom. Cause her mom is the same way. I'm the same way, and I will support my kids in that. Hey, I remember the first time my daughter, I said, I want you to crochet me a hat and scarf. And she said, okay, but I gotta get the material. So I bought her all the material for it, and she still charged me, and I paid her.
I bought the product and you still gonna charge me?
That's right, full price. For
Hey,
real.
but y'all still talk about that to this day, don't you? Do you still
Yeah.
have the hat or the scarf?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Exactly.
do, and I wear it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
And that means more to her and you, because you're telling me this story. So that meant more to you than anything that she could buy you in the world.
yeah. They can buy you stuff out the store and all this other stuff, but when it comes to something they took their time to do, you know how much focus it takes to crochet and to do stuff like that? That is an art.
It is. I
And
still got all the homemade happy birthday, Father's Day cards that don't say any of that. It don't say
yeah,
none of that, but they tried. You understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? They
right.
tried to write, I love you, Daddy, happy birthday, happy Father's
Uh-huh.
Day. But it don't say that. But to me it says that. You understand what I'm
It's a,
saying? If you
yeah,
looked at it, you'd be like, what was this kid trying to say? But I can tell
yeah.
you when they gave it to me, what holiday it was, and what they was trying to say.
Yeah, you knew that. You understand that language, your daughter, the handwriting. Yeah, exactly, your kids doing because when you're around with you raising your kids and you're around you, if you watch it, you paying attention, you know what they doing. You know what they saying. You know how they think. So
Yes, sir.
when you're around your kids, yes, you're gonna know. You're gonna understand that. You ain't gotta sit up there. What is this? What is that? You may ask a question here and there on if it's a script, if it's scribbled, but you basically understand what she's saying because you can look at her in the face and as she's giving it to you, say, "Here, Daddy, this for you,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me. It
yeah.
ain't for nobody else." Like you said, it was for you.
Right, right.
So you understand that because you know the translation between you and your daughter.
Man, what you said, man. But it's a precious moment. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, that's that language we all have, just with our kids, like with mine. My kids my daughters, my youngest daughter, they into the K-pop thing, they into anime, they into all of that stuff, and Dungeons and Dragons. I had to go out and buy this $50 book for a game, and then buy a lot of other accessories for this game. And you can play it either at a desk or you could play it online and stuff like that. And I was sitting there and I was in the Books a Million right before Christmas buying this book for $50. And this older guy came up, he was like, yeah, I've been playing this game for over 30 years. I'm like, are you serious? He's, I said, wow. And I
Yeah,
said, well, I'm gonna get into this game with my daughter. That's
right.
something we don't have it, something we do together. Anything I could do with my kids together, I will do.
The question in the chat is, what about your son? How's your
My son,
relationship with your son?
my relationship with my son is good. Yeah, he's an artist too. He graduated from high school, went to school for graphic illustration. Man, my son draws better than me. He can do better. He draws way better than I do. Because they have way more than tools than I had coming up.
Oh
My
yeah,
son,
the world now. All we had is pencils and pens with it and erasers. Now
oh,
they got 3Ds and putting all these numbers
yeah,
together and all this different stuff. Yeah, they
yeah.
got
I,
the arsenal is much
yeah,
better than the one we
yeah.
had.
I had to go back to school. I went to Nashville Community College to take up AutoCAD and reading blueprints and stuff like that. Not because it will advance me in my workforce, but also, I can show this to my son. Hey, check this out. If you do this, do that, do this, man, you can put it. It all comes together. I put my 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 career is based on all these different trades I put together.
Hey, but like you
It,
said,
it,
you
it
a
wasn't no
hustler.
it wasn't no straight line. I ain't never. It wasn't no straight line that I had to go. It wasn't that easy. I
Thank
had
you,
to
my
from the
brother.
good,
But
I had to get that,
thank you for saying that
had
because
to get
I
that.
tell people that all the time. The way your path goes is totally different from mine. I made a right hand turn, then made a left hand turn, then I went straight. I had to go backwards. Then I had to make another right hand turn. Then I had to make a left
Oh,
hand turn. Then I made two right hand turns. Then I made a left hand turn. Then
that's right,
I had to circle around.
right.
But
Exactly.
people don't understand that it does not go in a straight line all the time.
No, no, no. It was the challenge in that.
But people don't understand that. And I'm glad to hear another man admit that, hey, I took some pitfalls and I had to put some stuff together that may not look like what somebody else may think it looks like, but it worked for me. I took a few
Yeah,
classes over here at this time. I took a few classes over here at this time when I can afford it. I did a few things over here when I can afford it, but now I don't work anymore. I just enjoy life. But
that's
what I mean by is, you know what they say, if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life.
exactly. I had to get to that point. Can I give you another one?
Go ahead.
Okay. When I was told I was to do apartment maintenance, I used to work for Metro Housing. I used to work over at Preston Taylor and all that stuff. But I didn't have the heat and air conditioning certification just yet. And my partner of mine put me on to a school. I went to Fortis Institute and I got it. And when I got it, I called my father. I said, man, I just finished. And my father, he came back at me. He said, you know what you got? I said, yeah, I got certification. He said, no, you got more than that. I'm like, what you mean? I said, okay. So he's like, listen, you got the right to choose now. And I said, what? He said, you got the right to choose. And it dawned on me. I'm like, because I went to an interview before I had my certification. I went on an interview for a maintenance job and didn't get it because I didn't have the heating and air conditioning degree certification. And when I and that helped me motivate me to go back to school and get it. And when I got it, you know what? I went back to that same job and I applied again. And I sat in the interview and they was telling me, man, you gotta have this. I said, I got this. I got that. I got this. I got that. They was like, Mr. Franklin. And they, when they called me Mr. Franklin, ha, ha, ha. I was like, yeah, ha, ha. Nice, Mr. Franklin. So when they sat there and they was like, we only got this much, medical, this much, we don't have vision, we don't have this, we don't have that. How much is you looking for in pay? And when I gave them my number, you know what they told me?
We can't
They said,
afford you.
we can't afford you now. I said,
Right.
what? I said, what? Oh my God. This white lady came up and sat in my face and told me that they can't afford me.
Yeah.
That was the best feeling in the world at that time.
Riding on cloud nine. Didn't get the job, But you
Didn't
was
get
on
the
top of the
job.
world. But you was on top
That's
of the
right.
world.
Because it wasn't about that job. It wasn't. It was about that. For me, it was about the having somebody to tell me you are worth more than what we can give. I'm worth more. When at first I wasn't worth more. Now I am, because I went out and went back and got what I needed.
You went and
But
applied yourself.
yes, I did. So I was like, more and more, as I educated myself more, and people started to understand, I know what I'm talking about. Mr. Franklin, Mr. Franklin, Mr. Franklin. Hey, man,
Hey, they started that Mister came out.
that Mr. come in front of that Franklin. That's respect.
That Mister came out. But you know what?
Yeah.
We as men have let society devalue us. We've let society devalue us. And as men of color, we've let the world devalue us. Do you
Man,
understand that
yeah,
we have built this world that we live in? If it
we
wasn't
broke
for
this.
us, a
Man,
lot of things that we're doing right now would not exist.
that's right. You
But
ain't
we
lying.
don't get the credit.
Oh no. We built the black man. We as black men, we built this. We put this world on this nation on our back, and we don't get the credit for it.
No, not just the man, because I'm not gonna sit here and say that the
Not just
women
the
didn't do
man.
their part too, because
I,
this is this is
look, I
this is
know.
yeah. Go ahead.
I know we're talking about black women too, but I'm talking about black men right now,
Okay.
because we have been so deprived of the credit that from what we did. Our fathers, our grandfathers, that we've been torn down so much in society. We've been looked down on all for years. But we keep creating this stuff that people use from the beginning. Everything we created been stolen.
We are the most imitated.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, you can't. I'm not going to let nobody take credit for what I did, for what I'm doing.
No,
I'm an
sir, Mr.
example.
Franklin.
I'm an example.
And you
I'm
you
gonna let you
you
know.
you you're making a path.
Yeah, not just for me, not just for my son. Like I said, I got nephews, I got cousins, I got young guys that approach me in the streets, young guys that approach me in the church, young guys that approach me in a job, that communicate with me. Now I go in my job, Taco Bell, I go in all these stores and I see all these young guys and these young ladies up in there, and they don't know like I know. And then they approach me in certain different ways, and sometimes I have to check them, or sometimes I have to like, look, do it this. You want to do it this way. This is the way you look. This is the way you're supposed to look. This is the way you. This is the way. I've done all that. I've been there where you at. That's why I need you to listen. I want you to listen to, because a lot of these young kids ain't their father's not there. I'm your father for the minute if I gotta check you.
Amen.
I'm your father for a minute if I'm showing. If you see me dressed nice. I'm your example of for that moment.
That's why, listen, what you just said is the reason why you're here tonight. That's the reason why you on my podcast, is what you just said right there. Because we need more men to step up to the plate and say what you just said and carry that weight on their shoulders. Listen, young
Yeah.
boy, I'm your father right now. I'm the man that's in front of you that's going to show you what a man does. And it can be the moment. It could be an hour. It could be a day. It could be a week. But we need more men to stand up and be fathers in front of these children.
That's right.
And you're here because of your story and where God has brought you from and brought you to. Because here
That's
at the
right.
Kickback, we're trying to build a community of men that are ready to take back this world and be fathers. Because there's some young man out there right now that's going through what you went through. There's some young man out there right now that thinks that whatever he's going through in life right now is going to carry on with him in 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
But you know that
Yeah.
what you went through 40 years ago, you ain't going through no more. You know what you went through 30 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, you ain't going through it no more.
You know.
But
That's right.
some young man that's going through something right now thinks that that's going to carry on through the rest of his life, and he doesn't understand that there's a man has been in the shoes that he's walking in, but
Right.
God turned it around.
That's right. Change is inevitable, and it's about how much you in control of that change. Because if you're not in control of that change is gonna happen, and you're not gonna be ready for that change. You ain't gonna be ready for that change.
You're going to be standing on the corner asking for some change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna be
So
standing on the corner talking about, can I get some change? And the worst of the world has passed you by.
that's, man, for real. I'm telling you, I see it. We see it every day.
You see it every day. I mean, it's like in my neighborhood, there's a cat that I went to high school with. He was a nice looking gentleman, and he had something going for himself. But now he stands on the street corner and he sells those little papers.
Yeah.
And
You know why?
in my mind, I'm like, we grew up in the same neighborhood. We grew up at the same time. We went to the same high school. How did he wind up out here on the streets and I wind up blessed like this?
Because people give up on themselves. You give up on yourself first. When you in those, if you ain't got no good example around you, your example gonna be to a person that miserable person that you see, you think doing something, and that person, your misery loves company.
Yes, sir. I believe in all the cliches. I believe in all the cliches because and that's why I talk about family, because in my time, in my time on this earth, I've had family members that wanted me to stay in the place where they're at. And when I got out of the place where they were, then all of a sudden now I'm too good for them. Now
Wow.
I think I'm better than them, or
Oh,
I got this and I need to help them out, but I ain't helping. You ain't Christian like, cause you ain't helping me out, or you. And 9 times out of 10, it turns out to be money. Most people just want your money,
yeah,
but they don't know how hard you work to get the money that you
yeah.
got.
I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna go back a little bit. When I left Chicago, a lot of people had something to say. A lot of people thought, "Oh man, why you leaving? Man, you leaving Chi-Town? He left. He did this. He trying to do this. He did." And I'm like, wow. They didn't say it to my face, but I heard it like a background choir. So and
Yeah,
so said, he said this, that, and the other. Hey, I don't care what so and so said, because you know what? They behind me.
exactly. If you wanted to be beside me, we'd be standing beside each other,
That's right.
getting better together.
Yeah. But I'm not going to stagnate myself when I know I got to push toward a blessing, and I got so and so over here talking about, man, wait for me. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. No,
No, I
I
can't
got to
wait for
move
you.
forward. I
Right.
can't.
Because, I believe in what God says. What's for you is for you, and what's for me is for me. And
That's
let
right.
no man take what God has for me.
That's right. I ain't gonna be. I was done being a fool. I was done playing the Superman role with my friends,
Man,
with
say
my
that.
so-called friends. I
Say
was
that.
done
Say
doing it.
that, man.
I was done with all that, man, because it wasn't getting me nowhere. You know where it was going to get me? In jail.
But see, a lot of people don't understand what you just said. You said I was tired of playing Superman for my friends. So many of us run around with capes on trying to save everybody else when the person that really needs saving is ourselves.
Exactly.
But we running around talking about, come on, bruh, come on, cuz, come on, brother, come on, sister, come on, auntie, come
Yeah.
on, uncle, come on, all these people. But the
You
person that
know?
really need to be saved is us.
Yeah. Like you heard them rappers say, man, once they get out the hood and everything, and the family, the friends, the old people that's in the middle, they mad. But they didn't do the work. How they gonna be mad at you when you doing the work?
What is another cliche. You wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym.
Ha.
You
That's
wasn't
right.
with me when I was shooting in the gym. So what make me think that I'm supposed to give you my endorsements because you my blood or you my homeboy that we've been friends forever and a day. Say, if you loyal to me, then you're going to be right there. Either you're going to be my trainer, you're going to be my towel boy, you're going to be somebody, but you're going to be right there with me in the gym while I'm taking them shots.
That's right. I was watching a YouTube video. This guy was talking about Kobe Bryant. And he was saying all these other guys was out to dinner, going to the clubs and everything, but Kobe was in the gym trying to be like Mike.
They said Kobe was the first one in the gym and the last one to leave.
Because he wanted to be like Mike. So I would think that each one of us got to find that best example, that best positive role model, be like so and so. If he's a good role model, don't try to take on his characteristics. No, you take on you take the ethics, his
And
work
you
ethic,
try to be better.
and you try to be better for you. You use that person to be better for yourself. If you're gonna be around somebody that's doing better than you, and match his fly,
Right. Right.
match his fly.
Yes,
Kobe was
sir.
matching my fly. That's why everybody running around talking about LeBron, the King. No,
It's only because Kobe's gone.
that's only because Kobe is gone.
Only because Kobe's gone.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna be like anybody, I didn't want to be like my father. I did not want to be like my uncle. I wanted to be better than that.
Exactly.
Yeah, my father didn't raise me to be just like him.
But see, that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand that. The best thing that some fathers did was show you their struggle, to show you
Yeah.
their plight, to show you how they lived, whether it was good or bad. The best thing a father did for you was showed you how he lived. And
Can I tell you this?
yeah, yeah. And then we gonna have to roll. We got to roll.
All right. Now, like when I was 10 years, 12 years old, I stayed, my parents moved to Henry Horner projects in Chicago. And because this project was so bad, they were so crazy out here. My parents wouldn't let us out at certain times of the day or night. And I used to walk through the alleys, me and my friends, and I see an old TV or something like that. And I would take that TV or that stereo or something like that, and I would bring it back to my room and I would tear it up, take it apart. And my father used to be like, man, what you doing with all this stuff in the room? And I'm like, dude, I ain't got nothing else to do or whatever. This was my thing. And I used to, when we had the headphone sets, the Walkmans,
Yeah.
I used to take all the speaker wire and I take all the speakers out of these TVs. I wound up having like 25 little small speakers and I wired them in together in line, whatever, thinking that it was going to make the sound greater. I had surround sound at 12 years old around my room
With them TV speakers.
on TV speakers. And my father used to come in there and I would get in trouble. And he fuss at me. And sometimes I got a little spanking and everything. And then I looked, and one time my father came and stayed with me for the weekend about 2 or 3 years ago. And I said, Daddy, I said, remember that? I said, remember you used to get on me about, the TVs and having all this junk in the room and stuff like that. He said, okay, yeah, I remember all that. I said, look what I am now. And he said back,
And he had to stop for a minute and think about it.
he was like, damn, I'm a carpenter.
Right. So now I get paid to tear stuff up and fix it.
That's right. And my father said, oh, okay, because me and my father, we got this one-up thing. That's what we do. That's one of our connections. We got this one-up thing. And when I said that, he was like, man, okay, I get it. And 2 months ago, I was on my way to work, and I called my father. God put it in my spirit to call my father, and I did. And when I called my father, I did something he didn't expect. He was like, "What's up?" I said, "I want to thank you." He's like, "What?" I said, "I want to thank you." He said, "For what?" I said, "For doing the best you could with what you had and what you didn't have." And he got choked up. He was like, "What?" I was like, he almost hung up the phone on me because my father the type of person, he ain't gonna never let you see him, get all soft and stuff like that, crying.
Yeah. He
But
don't want to see you get emotional.
right, he didn't want me to see him get emotional, but he was like, "Dang, that was unexpected. I wasn't expecting that." I said, "Man, I'm proud of you. I know you didn't graduate high school when you were supposed to, but you went back and got that GED. I know you didn't, when the times was hard and all that stuff, and you didn't want us in the street, so you took us to Malcolm X College and made us take music classes or this type of class or that type of class. I understand you was trying to keep us busy and off the street. I understand all that. I know what you didn't have. I was there. I know that you couldn't afford to have a birthday party here or there every year. I understand all that. I learned from that. Those examples and not those examples of what did and didn't happen taught me. It brought me here. And and it made me want to do better for mine than what my father did for me. And sometimes with what you don't, sometimes it's good that you don't have everything. And you appreciate what you have when you get it. So I
Yes.
told him that. And he was like, "Man, thank you." He was like, because some people don't understand that. They go through their life hating their parents because they didn't have this or that, and whatever. Because they wasn't raised like this or that and the other. But it might not have been meant for you to have at the time. So, I gave that to him.
All righty. What's your message to the world? And we got to get out of here.
Keep it moving on the positive. Do whatever you got to do, in the eyes of, keep in mind God is looking at you. So do it the best you can with what you got and live. Move from struggling, get out the struggle stage, work your way out the struggle stage and live. Accept what you can. Do the best and be whoever you're trying to be. That's my word.
Mr. Franklin, I want to say thank you so much, my brother.
Hey,
I want
thank
to
you
say
for
thank you
allowing me.
so much. Listen, Friday, I'm gonna send you a link. We're gonna have a Freedom Friday. It's a bunch of fellas on a panel. You can come in and talk, or you can just come in and listen. Are you gonna come and holler at us on Friday?
Man, I'll come.
6:00. Be looking for the link. We're going to send you the link on Friday. Freestyle Friday is an open conversation. Hey, thank everybody for another
I will do
episode
that.
of the Kickback. Mr. Franklin, we thank you. We love you, my brother. And
Hey, I love
keep
you. Thank
doing what you doing. We
you.
out
Sure
of
will.
here.
Amen. Peace.
Amen, my brother.
Kickback, the place for brothers. Yeah.
That's right.
Kickback, the place for brothers.
Love me.
place for brothers.